This week we're talking about Let Me In. I mean, personally, for the three of us, I think I can speak for everyone that this was a pretty important movie coming out because it's a remake of a movie that the three of us really, really love, which is Let the Right One In. Originally a Swedish film, which most of you probably have never seen.
But should.
Yeah, which is it's sad that you haven't, but definitely go see it. All right, here's the problem with this review is we're gonna try our best to separate our thoughts about the original movie with the remake. It'll be tough though. Bear with us. Without comparing it, I think Let Me In is a very solid film. If you've never seen the original, you probably will like this movie.
I agree. Mm-hmm. It's a well-made. I was saying it's a well-made horror film. It's a modern horror film in that it has, very quiet touches. It's very suspenseful, and it has, gory effects. The attacking scenes, vampiric scenes, the CGI, which you didn't like so much.
Yeah.
I think it still works for most audiences. It'll scare them. It'll create that kind of jarring effect. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I think, more of a vampire movie than the original. I really think the vampiric aspect of Let the Right One In was incidental, and it really didn't play that much of a role when you really think about it. It was more just, not so much this is a creature, it's this is a human who is outcast because of her condition. It's almost like an illness.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, they made it more of, like you said, like a horror movie. There's a creature, there's an opponent to humanity, I guess.
Yeah, they were this movie and all the advertising were very clear on making her evil. They wanted to make sure that she was evil, which is kind of, to me, I think it takes away from the point of the book, even. Like, he's Matthew Reeves, right?
Yes.
Is his name? The director.
The director of Cloverfield.
Yeah, which, other than that, did he do anything else?
No, that was his first film.
Okay. I give him credit. The shots looked really good. Everything on that end was good.
Yeah, he did a good job.
His writing, I have some issues with. But anyway, point is, I don't remember my point.
Matt Reeves.
Oh, he said that he was basing it off the book, and that's what I think is fair.
Which they were definitely, oddly enough, because John, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Lindqvist,
yeah.
He wrote the screenplay. He helped write the screenplay for Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
So it's funny that Matt Reeves is saying that he was sticking to the book's version, because technically, who better than the author to write a screenplay for the movie? But the funny part is there were some aspects of this movie that were actually closer to the original, the novel.
Yeah. Very few, but not many.
I feel like it was definitely an attempt to get rid of this whole Twilight fad that's going on. The whole vampires are nice and we should be happy and all live together in harmony and sparkle and glitter. Mm-hmm. It's not like that at all. It's definitely a return to the original vampire story, which that's the only part I really do like about Let Me In as opposed to Let the Right One In. Is it's more of a hard hitting vampire movie. That being said, because it is a remake, I don't like it as much, but given that it at least gets rid of the whole nice vampire thing, which has to go now.
Well, I think it's a compliment to this movie that it's a remake, and it's very well done. It's a movie that, if you hadn't never heard about the original film, you wouldn't see it as a remake.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like something awkward or something weird. Even though Justin felt a little awkward about it, but it feels natural to me. I was watching it. It feels like a horror movie that could stand on its own. If you've never even heard about the original movie, which you should go check out, you'd still enjoy this movie just as much. And I think it's a compliment to that, because most. Let's name some remakes real quickly.
Foreign remakes.
We
can talk about all remakes in general, but we won't get into that. That'll take forever.
Yeah, we've taken from other countries and we've remade it for American audiences.
The Ring. Based off of the Japanese Ringu, I believe.
Ringu, The Grudge, which is
The Grudge,
flying on its coattails of The Ring.
Yeah. We also had The Eye.
The Eye is the big one for me, because that took a completely different direction between the original and the remake. The original was basically the original was amazing, actually, whereas The Eye was stupid and I almost want to say campy, even though it didn't go for that. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to be campy, but they just failed at making a serious
Wasn't Jessica Alba in that?
Yes,
well,
exactly.
That right there.
But that's what happens when a director or just a filmmaking team take on a project that's already based on something else, based on another film, and they don't really understand what that film was trying to do. And for this movie, Let Me In, I think they understood it and they respected it enough to make a film that, like I said, could stand on its own and that has its own little themes that we were talking about. Some things that completely take the story into a different direction from the original, which I think I like. Because this way you can watch Let Me In and then you can watch Let Me In, and you'll get two different perspectives with each film, and that's what a remake should be. You should take what the first one did well and expand upon it, and I think this did well with that.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think remakes usually.
My opinion.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I feel
Your
like
opinion's
usually.
wrong.
Yeah. You're wrong. No, I think remakes they should be their own adaptation of whatever the story may be.
I think that's just saying what I said in shorter words.
But no, but you say expanding on it. I don't mean expand on the same idea. Make your own idea, which is what
he did
occasionally.
Well, you could expand on it also.
You could.
Why not?
Which probably, all right, that's probably the safer. No, there's no winning when you make a remake. I would say that's a safer bet because people will be like, oh, I like how he kept the same story.
Exactly.
But then there's going to be the same people that are like,
okay, so
oh, it's the same movie.
How about this?
I mean,
How about this? Let's change.
Someone didn't turn off their cell phone during the movie review.
You would get an F if this were a college class.
Yeah, Jordan.
You'd lose a point on your average. So let's change the direction of this review, because the problem is we're comparing it. Let Me In is its own movie.
Yes.
It is a remake, yes, but let's put that aside for now. We've already told you that the remake is the original is better. Let's get we're done with that.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's face it. It's not as good as the original. Watch the original. That's a different movie though. Let Me In by itself. Again, we got onto this a little bit at the beginning. It's a great movie. There are no major flaws in the movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
If it were not a remake.
There were a few awkward writing problems.
Okay, true. In my opinion, I love Chloe Moretz. She's awesome. She did a great job in Kick-Ass. Unfortunately, people are gonna always, I think, compare her to her role in Kick-Ass, which sucks. That being said,
she did a good job to separate herself from that, though.
True. However, I think she unfortunately was not the best. I couldn't name anyone better, but she was not the best choice. For playing Abby, who the vampire is named.
No, it just thanks that they kept it at the same ages, though. They were thinking about doing teenagers.
Thank God they didn't.
It worked much better.
I wouldn't have seen it if it had been anything remotely close to Twilight. Anyway, minus the contact usage.
What about the kid who played Owen? What'd you think about that?
I liked him. I did like him a lot.
The funny part is I think he played the role better than Chloe Moretz played her role.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because I really do like her, but he played the awkward kid that got made fun of a lot.
Yeah,
he looked
really
like
well.
he walked off like the Holocaust. He was just completely just skin and bones.
I'm glad the Jewish person here said that,
Yeah,
as opposed to the rest of the
That's totally racist.
I couldn't help it. I was like, why is nobody should be that skinny? I mean, this is. Yeah. I could see his.
But that was perfect. That was perfect for the role, though.
It's perfect.
It was perfect. Despite the fact that in the book he was supposed to be a fat kid. By the way, can I still compare it to the book? Is that fair? No, not at all.
That's probably how they cast him. That is probably how they cast him, though, right? They probably cast him. He came in and take off your shirt. You're good. You're good. Don't even read any lines.
That's creepy. I'm trying out for a role. What do I do? Undress yourself.
But I'm 12. We're gonna throw spitballs at you.
Okay, that's the other thing. Chloe Moretz is now, I believe, a teenager. If not, she's going to be very soon.
Yeah.
Now, the funny part is, she is, in this movie, like we said, it's going for the horror thing. She's playing a vicious vampire, whereas in the original, I'm gonna compare it again.
Alright, what's your point? Just
basically, long story short, I feel like she does a great job acting, period. However, I felt like she was almost trying too hard in certain scenes to be an evil character when the way she is, the way she carries herself, that energy she gives off, she is not an evil character. And I feel like
felt forced, I agree.
Yeah, I think that was the only issue with that. That being said, alright, because we can just ramble about this.
Yeah,
forever.
we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing about what you said earlier about this being a totally different animal. Where I find it that with foreign films, they usually take the main villain usually is human. Is human.
Mm-hmm.
Is humanity.
Yeah.
Which I think Let the Right One In had a lot. It was her being demonized by society for her illness, and where American audiences are used to some kind of evil, some kind of demonic.
We need this otherness.
Exactly. We can't see ourselves as evil.
Yeah.
And that's what I think these two movies, again, I'm comparing it, but only in a general sense that they stray away again. But I like that. I like at that point that they stray away, that in both films there's a different entity to hate.
Chloe Moritz should play like a were-kitten. Like they should make a were-kitten movie where like she turns into a little cat.
Would she wear the hip girl costume?
Yeah.
With the whiskers coming out?
Or maybe she'll be the next cat. Maybe she'll be Catwoman.
Cat girl.
Cat girl.
It's
It's like hit girl, cat girl. She's just gonna get stuck with all these girl roles.
All right, we wanna let's you wanna give it scores.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I enjoyed this film very thoroughly. I thought I find it as a very well made modern horror movie. It hit on all bases for me. I'd give it a 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I have issues with. I can't help but compare it to the book and the other movie. I think it's fair to compare it to the book. That's just my opinion because that's its source material. It's taking that story, and I know that you have to adapt things appropriately for a film, but we've seen that they could have done it more closely to the book with the other movie. That being said, they changed a lot of the tones and the themes of the story, and that's what I didn't like about it. They demonized her when in reality there's supposed to be moral ambiguity in this story. That's the point of the story, is a moral ambiguity. So I don't want to take away from it too much for that. Other than that, some of the writing was shaky to me. I felt delivery of their moments the lines felt forced. Like he was trying to get these moments in, Reeves that is, when he was writing the scenes. Keeping in mind that I'd seen the old one, I would probably give it maybe like a 2.5 out of 4. But on its own, I'm going to be completely objective. I would agree with Jacob, and I would say 3 out of 4.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give it 3 spring rolls, based on the fact that it definitely wasn't.
3 spring rolls out of 4?
Why do you always ask this question? No, it's just 3 spring rolls.
Why spring rolls?
Alright, well, spring rolls are a combination of many ingredients surrounded by a fried, like, pastry-ish crust. Not really a pastry, but you know what I'm saying. That kind of thing.
Fine.
And what this movie was, it was a delightfully nutritious remake of a foreign film, spring rolls being technically foreign.
Okay,
Americans
all
did
right.
not invent
Yeah.
spring rolls. And I really like carrots, and I liked all I believe they use a lot of like cabbage and that kind of stuff in the. Spring rolls are really good, so it gets 3 really good food items. But the thing is, it loses some points because I would have liked to eat the spring rolls from the original.
I hate you a little bit.